Deep inside a dark cave, someone is mining non-stop, and the pickaxe hits the wall with serious force, causing a mysterious blue liquid to start dripping from the crack. Our MC gets hyped because he finally found what he was looking for, so he starts collecting the blue ink oozing from the stone into a vial, and thanks his little buddy Nero for the help with the search. Now he believes he can finally be accepted into the Pioneer Corps. From there, he starts walking out of the cave, and upon exiting, he observes a futuristic city shining in the distance. At the same time in the city, a crowd gathers for an event. Before everyone, the Colorless appear, a group of heroes with vibrant hair, and the people admire them because they are strong and defeat big monsters. Thanks to them, the shining city remains safe and prosperous. However, the scene changes to a poorer and darker part of the city. In this place called the Shadow District, people look worried, and there is the poster for the Rank C Pioneer Corps exam. Suddenly, our MC is thrown violently to the ground, and one of the men states that place isn't for him. Not understanding, he shows the vial of ink he managed to get, and says that's proof of his qualifications for the test. But one of the men gets annoyed with the kid's persistence. From there, he reveals the reason for not accepting him is because he's a colorless, explaining that everyone is born with a defined role in society, while his hand starts to glow as he calls him a cursed colorless. With that, a wave of power hits the protagonist. The man says the pioneer job is only for the chosen ones, and that only people with colors can occupy that spot. Furthermore, he claims that weaklings don't survive in the dangerous Black Earth, describing the place as an endless darkness full of lethal creatures, where pioneers risk their lives to bring resources to humanity. The guy brags saying they are the true heroes of the city. Therefore, he states that a colorless could never make it, and should look for another job. Then he tells our MC to get lost and never come back. The young man remains silent while Nero looks worried, but he reassures him saying that happens frequently. Our MC claims he will still be the greatest colorist because it's a promise. With that, he asks Nero to hide so he won't be seen, thus deciding to try his luck somewhere else. Meanwhile, one of the men who kicked him out watches him walk away, and the green-haired guy shows a weird interest in the kid. Moving on, he continues the search for a place that will accept him. But with every attempt, he just crosses another name off the list. At the end of the day, he feels disappointed for not achieving anything. With no alternatives, he heads to Marie's workshop. Upon arriving, he opens the door and calls for Marie, who had her back turned. The girl turns around and greets him excitedly, calling him K. Noticing his expression, she says he was rejected again. Indignant, she claims they don't see the talent K possesses, reinforcing that his skills in the Black Earth have already been proven. Our MC responds with humility, saying he only manages because of Nero. With that, he offers the collected ink and Marie agrees to buy it for a good price, commenting that ink is in short supply due to the increase in pioneers, showing how this resource is essential for their lifestyle. Given that, Marie asks if Kay thought about what she had suggested before. He shows hesitation, but she insists on the subject. Then she places a paper on the table for him to see, revealing a recruitment flyer for the Dawn Pioneer Corps Rank S. Kay looks thoughtful because he never tried something of that level for fear of failing. Marie encourages him, saying it's an opportunity based on merit, and looks at him with hope, believing he will be recognized there, remembering that this has always been his dream since childhood, and that she will continue by his side whatever happens. Our MC agrees because he doesn't have many options. From there, he takes the flyer for the Dawn Pioneer Corps. Kay says goodbye to Marie, thanking her while she wishes him good luck. Then he walks alone through the dark streets of the district. Looking at the flyer, he realizes time is short when Nero starts growling. Finding the behavior strange, he tries to understand what is happening. Suddenly, a man with a green staff appears behind Kay, being the same guy from before, who stares at him with a cruel smile, invoking green energy. Without warning, he fires a powerful attack in his direction. Kay is caught by surprise and can't dodge, and the blast hits him full on, throwing him far away. The attackers approach, mocking him for still being alive. With Kay down, the man claims no one would miss a colorless. With his last strength, Kay looks at Nero, who is crying desperately, and asks the little friend to flee from that place. Right after, the scene shows a waste disposal site for ink residues, where Kay wakes up some time later feeling intense pain. In front of him is the green-haired man with a disturbing smile. The villain holds him at the edge of a huge tank of black liquid, explaining that it is a lethal residue from the mixture of all inks. With difficulty, Kay tries to find out who he is and what he wants, trying to understand the motive for the attack, but receives only silence. Then the man reveals they found a treasure in the Shadow District, and this treasure was Nero, an intelligent creature linked to a human. Revealing that they had already captured the little one and locked him in a cage. Desperate, Kay screams his friend's name upon hearing him cry, trying to attack him to save Nero but being restrained easily. Their plan is to sell Nero on the black market for a fortune, stating that such a treasure is too valuable for a colorless. Our MC blames himself for letting his guard down, and refuses to accept losing Nero, his only family, for something so petty. With that, an intense fury takes over K, and a dark energy begins to leak from his hand. The villain gets scared because he never felt anything like it. Soon the green energy starts being sucked by K's body. Disgusted by the sensation, the man drops him into the tank and walks away to continue his plans with Nero, planning to go to the black market while the little one cries in the cage. Sinking into the darkness, K can only think about saving his friend, but his body doesn't react while he sinks into the black liquid, regretting having such a pathetic end while remembering happy moments. However, upon recalling his childhood, he realizes he can't give up yet, because there is an important promise he needs to keep. Mining in the darkness of the cave, someone strikes the stone non-stop, and with a strong impact, the pickaxe opens a deep crack, from where a mysterious blue liquid begins to flow. Overcome with joy, our MC finds what he was looking for, filling the vial quickly with the ink falling from the stone. And grateful, he pets little Nero. Confident, he feels he will finally enter the pioneer corpse. Leaving there, he walks towards the light outside the cave, and in the distance admires the bright and futuristic city. Meanwhile, a crowd gets excited for a big event, appearing with imposing presence, the colorists with vibrant hair, admired by all as the heroes who hunt monsters, keeping the city safe and extremely rich. However, in the Shadow District, reality is different, where people walk worried amidst poverty. Facing a dirty wall, he finds the poster for the Rank C exam. Being pushed suddenly, he goes straight to the ground. With the way blocked, a man says that's not his place. Trying to defend himself, K shows the vial of ink, claiming that proves he can take the test. Irritated by the persistence, the man looks at him with contempt. Humiliating him, he says a colorless will never be accepted. Speechifying, he states that everyone is born with a defined role. Accumulating green energy in his hand, he calls him cursed, and a wave of power throws him backward. With arrogance, he claims being a pioneer is a privilege of the elect, and that only bears of colors are capable, warning that in the Black Earth, the weak don't survive, describing the place as a hell full of monsters, where pioneers risk their lives to save humanity. Bragging, he claims they are the heroes of the city. Humiliating K, he says a colorless should follow another path, and kicks him out, ordering him never to come back. In silence, K notices Nero's distress and reassures him, saying that always happens. Swearing to himself, he promises to become the greatest colorist. Hiding his friend, he asks not to be seen. Decided, he tries his luck again somewhere else, being watched from a distance by the man who kicked him out, who smiles darkly, showing interest. Moving on, K knocks from door to door, receiving only rejections while scratching names off the list. At the end of the day, he feels empty and hopeless, remaining only one option. He walks to Mary's workshop. Opening the door, he calls for his friend who had her back turned. Screaming for help, he asks Nero for immediate assistance, who reacts by spinning in the air and gathering magical energy. Exploding in light, it illuminates all the darkness around, revealing dozens of evil eyes watching from the shadows. Terrified, K tries to understand where he ended up. Recognizing the environment, he realizes he fell into the dreaded Black Earth, understanding that he crossed the limits of the safe forest. When monsters advance in a swarm against the intruder, running for his life, he calls Nero to flee, and the small sphere of light accompanies him, escaping by a hair from a deadly attack coming from the shadows. Thanking the rescue, he praises the companion's speed. When Nero meows, indicating a change in the environment, breaking the silence, a pillar of light appears in the cave, causing a shiver as it envelopes K with unknown energy that runs through his body, leaving him light. Running non-stop, he realizes the fatigue has disappeared, jumping between rocks with absurd speed, feeling an explosive vigor awaken, while Nero follows like a ray of light. Appearing suddenly, a colossal monster attacks from behind, making K lose his balance with no chance to dodge. Closing his eyes, expecting the final blow, when the creature bites his arm with force, breaking its own teeth upon hitting something rigid. Retreating in pain while K remains motionless. Checking his arm, he realizes it's intact, incredulous for having survived that attack. Looking at his own hands, he understands he awakened the power of colors, while Nero celebrates, floating around him, making the ground shake with heavy steps approaching, until a gigantic cyclops emerges from the shadows, and K recognizes he faces a mortal predator, trying to understand the reason for something like that being there, when the creature attacks, destroying the ground. With Nero alerting about the imminent danger, dodging the blows, K understands it will be a tough fight, but feels a new confidence emerge, certain that now he can win. Remembering everything he suffered, he realizes he finally has power. Closing his fist, he decides to stop running. Pulling the anger from that attack, he awakens his energy. Concentrating the flow, he feels the dark power grow. Exploding in a black aura, K prepares for combat, facing death without retreating, jumping with everything against the monster, and with a brutal punch he shatters it, making the impact crack the ground, scattering the enemy's remains remains through the cave, while our hero feels the power vibrate in his veins. Suddenly his vision is taken by an intense light, and the scenery changes, making him see himself surrounded by a colorful forest. Admiring the landscape, Kei is enchanted with that world full of life. Returning to reality, the black ink begins to melt from his body. Sweating cold, the boy doesn't understand what he just experienced. Overcome by pain, he feels his strength disappear all at once. Falling to his knees, he can barely keep himself standing. Meowing worried, Nero runs to help his exhausted owner. Seeing the aura disappear, Kei realizes the ink is running out. Understanding the risk, he discovers this power has a clear limit. Hearing distant voices, he feels his mind spinning from extreme effort. On the verge of unconsciousness, he fights to keep his eyes open. Extending a trembling hand, he seeks support on the ground. Digging his fingers into the earth, he tries to recover his lost breath. Dissipating into the air, the dark energy finally abandons his body. Attentive, Nero shines softly in the darkness of the cave, lighting up the environment. The dust of the battle begins to settle. Relieved, our hero admits he survived by very little. Taking a deep breath, Kei tries to calm down after almost dying. Returning to the city, he arrives in front of Mary's workshop. Drawing distractedly, the girl hears the door open. Entering in silence, a hooded figure appears at the entrance. Excited, Marie asks what brings the visitor there. Finding the atmosphere strange, she realizes something is wrong. Motionless, the mysterious figure doesn't say a word. Advancing through the workshop, the heavy steps catch her attention. Apprehensive, she doesn't recognize who is before her. Approaching in silence, the guy leaves her cornered. Suddenly he lets out a scream, scaring the girl. Laughing, Kei takes off the hood, revealing his identity. Trying to calm her down, he warns it's just him. Holding a huge wrench, Marie is in shock seeing him. Stuttering, she takes a while to process that Kei came back alive. Furious, she unloads her anger, asking where he has been. Threatening to hit him, she raises the tool ready for the blow. Cursing, she unloads all the accumulated worry. Retreating with hands raised, Kei tries to avoid the beating. Slamming the wrench on the table, she demands he explains everything. Admitting relief, she confesses she was happy he didn't die. Changing the subject, our hero asks if the registrations are still valid. Asking for borrowed clothes, he says he will pay the debt in the future. Sighing tiredly, Marie comments on how many times this has happened. Changing her mood, she smiles, saying it's an investment in him. Pulling him by the hand, she tells him to follow her. Handing over a package, she claims to have exactly what he needs. Praising the look, she says the outfit fits perfectly. Arriving at the arena, the place is packed for the admission exam. Looking at the crowd, it's clear the competition will be fierce. Talking tensely, the candidates comment on the nervousness. Entering the Dawn Squad is the dream of any pioneer. Being the best group, everyone wants a spot. Dominating the Black Earth, they possess several elite colorists. Attracting big shots, the test gathers important names. Pointing out the highlights, the audience recognizes hares and famous hunters. Stealing the scene, a specific candidate catches general attention. Whispering, everyone looks at Gale, the Storm Sword. Famous for hunting monsters alone, they say he has the strength of an army. Known for his feats, he arrives as the absolute favorite. Certain of victory, many think it impossible for him to fail. Ignoring the stares, Gale seems bored with the attention. Looking around, he sees only losers. Discarding the rivals, he feels above everyone, until noticing someone different suddenly. Walking with elegance, a blue-haired girl stands out. Known as the Ice Princess, she emanates a powerful aura. Interested, Gale admits she draws attention. Curious, he decides to observe her performance in the arena. Stuttering, the robot asks for everyone's attention. Announcing the start, the exam finally begins. With the final order, the examiners open the gates. Appearing impressively, the leader silences the crowd. Considered a legend, they say he rivals entire armies. Staring at the rookies, he emanates a suffocating pressure. Welcoming them, he thanks everyone for their presence. Starting the speech, he reminds them the test is no joke. Recognizing the dreams, he warns that ambition is not enough. Being direct, he states that half efforts don't survive in the Black Earth. Explaining the test, he decrees that value will be measured in blood. Reminding of the law of the jungle, he says the weak become food. Challenging everyone, he questions who will be predator or prey. Calling the first names, the system summons the initial pair. Entering the arena, Gale walks confidently. Whispering, the audience laments the opponent's bad luck. Sadistic, the swordsman recognizes who he will humiliate. Planning cruelty, he thinks about how to toy with the weakling. Analyzing the posture, he concludes the adversary is insignificant. Motionless, the hooded figure just watches. Bored, Gale unlocks his weapon. Drawing the sword, he advances calmly. Releasing his aura, he decides not to hold back. Recognizing the technique, the audience screams the sword's name. Creating wind blades, he demonstrates absolute control. Provoking, he challenges the opponent to block. Advancing with everything, he initiates the attack. Launching a brutal cut, he promises to tear him apart. Without moving, the hooded figure watches the blow. Dodging by a thread, he makes the blade miss. Counter-attacking, he lands a punch that sinks Gale's face. The impact explodes, throwing the swordsman far. In shock, the audience goes absolutely silent. Gale falls into the rubble with the wall cracked. Unconscious, the favorite loses before fighting. Looking at his own fist, Kei is surprised by the strength. Removing the hood, he finds the arena's silence strange. Murmuring scared, the candidates point to his color. Recognizing the tone, the captain states that black is the color of calamity. Goosebumped, the blue girl feels that isn't human. Revealing power, K awakens general interest. Confused, our hero doesn't understand what he did wrong. Breaking the mood, other competitors advance to attack him. Throwing stones, a mage tries to catch him off guard. Dodging with ease, K ignores the attack. Spinning in the air, he counterattacks with precision. Sinking the rival into the ground, he knocks out one more. With a cross punch, he takes down another effortlessly. Watching from above, the captain sees a rare promise. Deciding to act, he wants to secure the recruit before the rumors. Approaching, an important visitor appears in the VIP area. Recognizing the presence, the captain salutes the Red Chief. Arriving with style, Red and his assistant analyze the arena. Making conversation, the redhead asks about the rookies. Disguising interest, he wants to know if there is anyone promising. Complaining, he comments that the previous mission was a waste of time. The intense battle catches both of their attention. Pointing out talents, the captain cites the ice girl and the surprise. Seeing the color, Red is shocked with the black. Explaining the commotion, the captain reports the instant defeat of the favorite. Incredulous, the assistant confirms if it's the same boy. Suspicious, Red finds such sudden power strange. Excited, K feels the dream of being a pioneer is close. Cautious, he knows he needs to hide the ink limit. On the other side, a wave of ice explodes. Cold, the blue girl defeats several opponents. Announced the victory, she stands out as the best. Watching, K admits her aura is impressive. Focused, he hopes not to face her now. Crossing paths, the two finalists stare at each other in the center. Silent, she measures him with a deep look. Feeling the pressure, K gets tense. Ignoring him, she passes without saying anything. Ending the phase, the captain announces the end of the warm-up. Remaining few, he warns the screening starts for real. Dismissing the losers, he orders the weak to withdraw. Preparing the next test, he warns now it will be serious. Interested, Red decides to intervene in the second stage. Curious, K doesn't recognize the redhead. Amazed, everyone shouts Colonel Red's name. Descending from the stands, he walks imposingly. Releasing flames, his aura is visible from a distance. Legendary, Red is one of the strongest pioneers. Assuming command, he announces changes in the plan. Explaining, he says the test will be simple. Smiling, he releases a suffocating heat wave. Burning the air, the pressure crushes the candidates. In panic, many start to feel sick. Challenging, he states whoever stays standing passes. Explaining the reality of the Black Earth, he reinforces the constant danger. Increasing the pressure, he watches who resists. Enduring the heat, the strongest fight not to fall. Searching, Red looks for the boy of the black color. Analyzing the crowd, he observes the aura control. Noticing a glow, he recognizes the Cyan family technique. Freezing the ground, the ice forms a barrier. Resisting the fire, the girl blocks the heat. Impressed, Red admits she overcomes the disadvantage. Proving talent, she confirms her genius fame. Changing focus, Red turns to the black boy. Finding him, he decides to test his limit. Intensifying the pressure, he wants to confirm the potential. Under the impact, K almost collapses. Disappointed, Red thinks he expected too much. Trembling, our hero feels his body at the limit. Remembering the fight, he notices the ink is almost running out. Without reserves, he knows he can't defend himself. Terrified, he fears being revealed as a colorless. Resisting barely, he feels he will give in. Having an idea, he realizes Red's aura is the key. Betting everything, he decides to use absorption. Uncertain, he extends his hand to the fire. Upon touching, he activates the hidden power of black. Pulling violently, he creates an energy vortex. Scaring those nearby, he forms a vacuum in the arena. Devouring the flames, he feels vigor return. Mixing energies, a tornado forms. Shocked, the captain doesn't understand the scene. Understanding the trick, Red smiles satisfied. Overflowing with power, K fights not to lose control. Remaining in the arena, he stands out as a monster. Perceiving the excess, he notes he called too much attention. Intrigued, the Ice Princess starts watching him. Incredulous, many doubt that color exists. Cautious, she stares at K with concern. Remembering her family, she recalls the demand for perfection. Unable to accept being behind, she promises not to lose. Admitting internally, she recognizes she wouldn't win now. Noting the aura, she understands he is a mystery. Ignoring logic, she decides identity doesn't matter. Promising revenge, she guarantees the result will change. Smiling, Red realizes the black swallowed his flames. Overcome by curiosity, he decides to watch this rare rookie. Receiving the news, K is shocked to learn he was approved. And vibrating inside, he finally realized the dream of being a pioneer. Sneaking out, Red leaves the problem in the poor captain's hands. And resuming order, the examiner warns that the show must go on. Sparing the spotlight, he says only one number passed directly. Watching the exit, the blue girl feels something is wrong there, and stays silent just watching the two walk away together. Arriving at the destination, the luxury car parks in a destroyed place, and getting out of the vehicle, Red tells the driver to wait outside. Trembling with fear, K recognizes that nightmare scenario, and looking at the hole, he remembers it was there he fell into the chemical waste. Investigating the area, Red comments on a recent incident at the location, and spilling the tea, he says they found two pioneers without color. Citing reports, he talks about a giant beast seen in the region. Connecting the dots, he notes K appeared right after all this, and deducing quickly, mentions the strange power to absorb colors. Staring at the boy, Red states that is something totally new. Panicking, K realizes the boss already understood everything. Thinking about fleeing, our hero knows he would be dead in an instant. Laughing at the reaction, Red says he was just testing his nerves, and explaining his job, comments he investigates incidents out of the ordinary. Mentioning the black color, he says it doesn't exist on the normal scale. Admiring the anomaly, the redhead notes that power breaks the rules. Citing instability, he knows K still doesn't control himself well. Surprising the boy, he hits the mark talking about lack of mastery. Looking around, Red decides to do a practical demonstration there, and extending his hand, invites the rookie for a real test. Offering his energy, orders K to try absorbing a little. Warning the driver, Red asks not to panic. Getting serious, our hero decides to stop stalling and accepts. Talking about the Inhumans, Red changes the tone to something darker, and explaining the threat says there are monsters in human form. Revealing the secret, says these beings threaten the great city. Staring K in the eyes, he warns that if the boy is one of them, threatening death, guarantees he will kill him right there if needed. Agreeing to the test, K grabs the boss's arm to start, and smiling nervously, confirms if he's really going to die if he messes up. Activating the connection, a dense energy starts spinning between them, and invading the body, the red power flows into the boy. Widening his eyes, he feels an absurd heat burning everything. Screaming in agony, K can't handle the pressure of that aura, and losing control, begs to stop because he is being destroyed. Noticing the problem, Red sees the flow won't stop coming out of him. Admiring the strength, K realizes a hero's power is infinite. Keeping calm, the redhead lets the boy absorb more energy, and analyzing the risk, knows this hunger is too dangerous. Getting intrigued, Red decides to see how far he can take it. Exploding in light, K's arm hits critical limit, and firing a blast, the accumulated power tears the ground. Watching the crater, Red is impressed with the damage. Being Kinsu's arm, K's arm is covered by violent black flames. Questioning the control, Red wants to know if he is still conscious. Fighting voices, K feels his mind being invaded by the power, and burning the skin, the energy tries to dominate the body by force. Growling in pain, he almost yields to destructive instincts. Whispering desires, the aura asks him to release all the fury. Screaming in thought, K orders that will to shut up. Dispersing the pressure, he manages to dissipate the excess power. Observing the feat, Red notes the boy regained control in time. Panting exhausted, K feels he escaped turning into a monster, and calming his spirit, realizes the immediate danger past. Investigating his state, Red checks if the mind is intact, and walking to him, confirms the dangerous test is over. Calling by the number, the redhead breaks the heavy silence, and smiling approvingly congratulates the rookie for the endurance. Agreeing with the attitude, he admits it's necessary to risk everything, and approving the result, says he has seen enough. Changing focus, the redhead reminds he is the chief investigator, and pointing out the suspect, says K is the only survivor of the place. Reminding of the incident, says many powerful people are watching. Threatening lightly, warns the city might hunt him like a lab rat. Dotting his luck, K realizes he is cornered, and trembling thinks he might end up imprisoned and dissected alive. Offering salvation, Red proposes he joins his team. Accepting immediately, K kneels begging for help. Warning the rules, the redhead says he will call in favors later. Promising loyalty, K agrees to do anything to get free. Smiling maliciously, Red likes hearing that. Traveling far, the truck crosses the Black Earth Desert, and looking at the landscape, K barely believes his journey began. Complaining about the fidgeting, Gale tells the rookie to sit and be quiet, and vibrating with anxiety, says he was born for this mission. Accepting fate, comments they are on the same team now. Looking out the window, the Ice Princess seems lost in thought. Questioning the invitation, K didn't expect to go to the unexplored area. And confirming the spot, Red says he saved a place just for him. Laughing at the reaction, the boss asks the boy to relax. Showing the map, he explains the rookies will go in a large group, and anticipating the announcement, warns details are coming out soon. Marking the commitment, demands K arrives on time. Reinforcing the order, the redhead wants to see him at the meeting point. Entering the cabin, K finds the new colleagues waiting. Remembering the confusion, Red's meddling changed the rules, and giving another chance, the exam approved more strong people. Demanding the spot, Ellie asked personally to join the team. Grumbling quietly, Gale doesn't accept having been humiliated, and inventing excuses swears he only lost due to carelessness. Threatening revenge, promises to finish K later. Offering comfort, the girl with glasses says he would have won. Cutting the mood, the Ice Princess says he would fall again. Offending his pride, states Gale isn't on the boy's level. Declaring priority, Ellie says she will be the first to challenge him. Finding the conversation strange, K realizes he might get along with her. confusing everything. Ellie thinks they had already scheduled the fight, telling him to shut up. The princess humiliates Gale without mercy, creating a heavy atmosphere. The three stay in silence, dotting the future. Kay doesn't know if this team will work. Navigating in the dark, the ship heads towards the unknown. Arriving at the base, the group disembarks at the Cyan outpost. Being impressed, Kay notes the difference in resources of her ranks. Feeling a touch, he wakes from his own thoughts, and smiling gently, Marie asks where his head was. Supporting the friend, says she needed to see the debit up close. Showing his head, Nero appears to greet the owner. Thanking the help, Kay is relieved to see them well. Excited with the chance, Marie says she will prove her worth. Sounding the siren, command calls everyone for final formation, and announcing departure, the leader warns entry is now. Trusting her, Kay leaves the cat under his friend's care. Worried about him, Mary asks not to do anything crazy, and calming the pet, says the owner will be back soon. Disappearing suddenly, the cat turns to smoke in her hands. Not understanding, Marie looks for the animal desperately. Diving into the shadow, Nero reappears near Kay in silence. Breaking her brain, Marie is in shock without explanation. Admiring the work, pioneers are jaw dropped with the view, and being there, Kay realizes the absurd size of the structure. Preparing Jeer, the orange team warns they are entering the rift. Demanding focus, the leader reminds safety comes first, and citing reports reinforces the place is full of monsters. Seeing the destruction, one can note they are weak. Interrupting the briefing, a subordinate calls the boss urgently, and reporting the problem, warns they found strange signals. Revealing the invasion, looks like someone entered without permission. Being surprised, the raid head doesn't believe such recklessness. Sitting danger, they say the place is under a rank S command. Begging for help, the guy asks for immediate rescue of the rookies. Crawling in the dark, a mysterious hand seeks support on the rocks. Arriving at the scene, Red and his team feel the atmosphere weighed down. Dotting safety, Kate comments if it's chill to enter there. Guaranteeing protection, Red warns he won't let anyone die. And confident, reminds the team has the best leader. Cutting the chat, the redhead orders them to advance. Entering the cave, the group is welcomed by a horde of monsters. Roaring fiercely, one of the beasts tries to devour the intruders. Slicing the enemy, Ellie creates precise ice blades. Landing firmly, she feels the real weight of the black earth, and surrounded by eyes, realizes no training prepares for this. Checking the weapon, Ellie knows she needs to save energy. Planning movements, decides to fight intelligently. Watching the rival, promises not to stay behind the rookie. Starting a conversation, Ellie decides to clear a doubt. Finding the style strange, comments why Kay doesn't use a sprite. Stuttering nervously, he tries to disguise the embarrassment. Admitting poverty, Kay reveals he doesn't even own one, and complaining about the price, says that's rich people's stuff. Being shocked, Ellie and Gale don't believe it, and exalted, the swordsman demonstrates surprise. Explaining the logic, they say such weapons are essential, and injecting ink, the sprite amplifies power. Remembering the arena, Gale realizes Kay fought without equipment. Groaning in rage, he feels even more humiliated, and recapping the beating, remembers he got beaten by bare hands. Cursing his own weakness, realizes the absurd difference. Swearing vengeance, promises to crush Kay in the future. Observing the rivalry, Red thinks it's interesting, and satisfied, feels the mission will be fun. Encouraging the group, warns they are arriving. Promising a party, says later they will celebrate. Alerting danger, Ellie asks not to lower their guard. Drinking a vial, Gale replenishes energy. Recognizing the item, Kay notes it's personalized ink. Worth a fortune, these tonics are custom made, and refined in alchemy, greatly increase power. Envying the rich, Kay almost cries seeing that. Disguising frustration, pretends not to need it. Getting down on the ground, decides to absorb straight from the source. Sucking the darkness, starts draining the black color. Amazing the colleagues, a dark aura appears. Absorbing everything, Kay fills up with energy at no cost. Feeling renewed, warns he is ready. Questioning sanity, Ellie comments if he doesn't feel effects. Guaranteeing to be fine, Kay says he's done this before. Thinking it's madness, Gale concludes he is insane. Interrupting the chat, Red warns they reach the destination. Staring at the barrier, Kay finds the black dumb strange, and feeling something familiar, perceives the energy. Revealing the reason, Red says he brought him for this. Demonstrating the problem, charges a fireball, and firing with force, launches the attack against the wall. Hitting the target, the ground shakes. Swallowing everything, the barrier suffers no damage. Explaining mechanics, Red says brute force only makes it worse. And connecting dots, states it works just like Kay's power. Trusting the theory, bets he can undo it. Pointing to the ruins, reveals they seek the Stella fragments. Being confused, Gale and Ellie never heard that name. Keeping silence, Kay seems to know more than he says. Leaving for later, Red states the Shining City needs this. Ordering action, he tells Kay to handle the obstacle. Touching the wall, Kay feels the energy vibrate under his fingers. Pulling with force, he starts absorbing the black barrier. Forming a whirlwind, the boy swallows the giant structure. Admiring the scene, Red confirms he was right about the rookie. Disappearing slowly, the obstacle opens the way to the ruins. Predicting profit, the boss already imagines how to use this power. Covering ears, Gale complains the vibration is unbearable. Fearing the worst, he warns the noise will attract unwanted attention. Confirming the fear, roars echo coming from all directions. Showing teeth, several beasts emerge from total darkness. Sprouting from the ground, an army of shadows surrounds the invaders. Keeping cool, Ellie notes the reception is quite warm. Protecting the tank, Red tells the team to hold the line. Declaring war, he orders them to exterminate every single beast. Tearing the wind, Gale goes in slicing the first enemies. Freezing the path, Ellie crosses the monsters without difficulty. Watching standing still, Red thinks about helping only if needed. Noticing the advantage, he notes he doesn't need to do anything. Praising the team, he sees the kids can handle it. Smiling perversely, the boss sees potential in those little geniuses. Spitting fire spheres, Red maintains total control of the situation. Consuming energy, K feels something strange in the barrier. Distrusting the flow, he notes a power coming from elsewhere. Fearing absorbing too much, he feels the force try to steal his color. Resisting the pressure, the boy realizes he got stronger. Finalizing the process, Kay lets out a relieved breath for finishing. Looking at the hole, everyone stares at the true entrance to the ruins. Descending to the bottom, the darkness seems endless in that pit. Reporting success, the rookie warns the path is clear. Praising the work, Red confirms his instincts were right. Taking point, Red asks the rookies to stay behind him. Looking around, everyone notices a sudden and tense silence. Turning on lights, the boss realizes the true threat has arrived. Feeling the ground shake, Gale asks, "What is approaching?" Cutting the air, a giant tail emerges from the pit's darkness. Cracking the floor, the beast destroys the terrain with a single blow. Retreating scared, the team can barely see the monster's size. Commenting on the situation, Red admits things got complicated fast. Mentioning the black beast, he warns the reports were real. Lamenting luck, the redhead complains the creature appeared now. Drawing the sword, he decides no more playing around. Revealing the form, a humanoid monster covered in weapons appears. Staring death in the face, the rookies freeze before the enemy. Giving orders, Red tells the trio to enter the ruins immediately. Tossing the flashlight, he passes the search mission to Kay. Yelling orders, he accepts no discussion and kicks the boys inside. Staying behind, Red decides to hold the monster alone at the entrance. Falling into the tunnel, the three slide to the bottom of the ancient structure. Landing in the dark, Gale complains about the boss's rudeness. Turning on the lamp, Kay illuminates the place where they fell. Widening eyes, he didn't expect to see an underground city. Observing the ruins, the destroyed buildings seem from another world. Analyzing the environment, Ellie notes that doesn't look natural. Exploring the place, Kay smells a strong scent of ancient things. Commenting on architecture, Gale thinks everything is bizarre and modern at the same time. Remembering the mission, he says they need to find the fragments. Hearing noises, the three realize they aren't alone. Preparing weapons, they go into total alert. Emerging from shadows, small figures run among the rubble. Observing the scale of the place, Kay wonders how they'll find anything there. Analyzing the ruins, Gale comments on the ancient civilization buried. Retorting the friend, Kay reminds they don't even know what they're looking for. Missing him, Gale says Nero's scent tracking would help a lot. Hearing a meow, Kay freezes, noticing the sound coming from inside his clothes. Jumping out, the black kitten appears, startling his own owner. Screaming incredulously, Gale asks how the creature ended up there. Widening eyes, Ellie stares at the creature shocked. Sweating cold, Kay thinks he's screwed now that the secret is out. Thinking fast, he notes he doesn't need to hide the animal anymore. Accepting the fact, the boy sees it would be impossible to keep him hidden. Seeing a chance, Kay decides to prove Nero can be useful. Dropping excuses, he resolves to take the risk. Calling attention, Kay asks the group to gather. Lifting the cat, he states he found a way to track the fragment. Doubting the proposal, the team listens to the explanation with suspicion. Ignoring the grumbles, Kay resolves to show and practice. Holding Nero, he warns they will be surprised. Throwing the critter, Kay makes the cat fly far away. Spinning in the air, the feline activates its power and starts to glow. Illuminating everything, the light leaves Ellie and Gale speechless. Being astounded, the swordsman never imagined seeing a special pet. Guiding the group, a luminous trail appears, indicating the path. Doubting what he sees, Gale comments that is unheard of. Questioning the origin, he wants to know where that relic came from. Confirming the scent, Kay asks if the fragment was found. Trusting the process, he knows Nero doesn't fail. Detecting prey, the cat's eyes shine with energy. Indicating the location, the body of light stretches towards the ruins. Flying between buildings, the trail shoots at high speed. Understanding the signal, Kay warns the objective is ahead. Questioning distance, Gale complains about how much is left. Provoking the rival, he says whoever is scared can stay back. Ignoring provocation, Kay advances decisively. Following the light, the trio crosses a wide and silent corridor. Admiring the scale, Kay reflects on the purpose of the place. Changing route, Nero makes a sharp turn towards the wall. Understanding the signal, the boy warns something was found. Shaking the ground, a heavy metal structure lands with violence. Scared, Kay reacts to the sudden noise. Raising dust, the giant silhouette reveals itself. Ironizing luck, Gale comments they found trouble. Screaming, he asks what that huge thing is. Finding the shape strange, Kay notes it doesn't look like a common monster. Activating the visor, the ancient machine awakens for combat. Visualizing data, Ellie notes strange numbers floating. Analyzing the system, the machine projects a green code linked to Gale. Finding the reaction strange, the swordsman questions the color reading. Changing focus, the robot turns the visor to K. Displaying the result, the feared black code 000 appears. Identifying danger, the elimination protocol is activated. Attacking without warning, the giant fires an energy blast. Blocking impact, K slides back feeling the force. Perceiving betrayal, he curses the enemy's cowardice. Screaming indignant, Gale reacts to the sudden violence. Advancing with fist, the robot tries to crush the intruders. Stopping the attack, K holds the metal arm with bare hands. Feeling pain, he realizes the scrap metal is stronger than it looks. Charging the core, the machine prepares another point-blank attack. Arriving with a kick, Ellie hits the robot with precise ice. Cutting from the side, Gale exploits the opening. Noticing the flaw, Ellie notes the blows don't scratch the plating. Understanding logic, she sees ice doesn't work against machines. Alerting the team, she orders aiming at the exposed core. Holding pressure, Gale tries to block heavy blows. Jumping back, K escapes by a hair. Analyzing combat, he notes brute force isn't enough. Rotating the torso, the robot tries to crush him against the wall. Irritated, K realizes he needs something stronger. Having an idea, he wraps his fist with black aura. Concentrating flow, K feels power cover his right hand. Trusting the attack, he advances without hesitating. Sliding down the mechanical arm, he goes straight to the weak point. Hitting full-on, K sinks his fist into the robot's chest. Bursting the core, dark energy corrodes the protection. Falling defeated, the robot turns off lights and collapses. Breathing relieved, they observe the stop machine. Kicking debris, Gale complains about excessive work. Noticing a glow, K finds something in the smoke. Analyzing the core, he notes the piece is different. Questioning the attack, Ellie presses K about the black power. Changing subject, he stutters trying to hide the secret. Interrupting conversation, a heavy door opens by itself. Finding the phenomenon strange, Gale questions who unlocked the passage. Darting ahead, Nero enters the dark corridor. Calling the cat, K runs after. Pointing ahead, he warns there is something valuable. Staring at the portal, a liquid darkness blocks passage. Touching surface, K feels the same energy as the barrier. Sucking everything, the vortex swallows the three at once. Screaming, they are pulled without being able to resist. Falling into the void, the three scream while darkness swallows them. Disappearing in the mist, they plummet without knowing the destination. Trying to see, Gale complains about absolute darkness. Feeling nothing, he asks if everyone is okay. Panicking, Gale notes his color disappeared. Looking around, the trio realizes the world lost its life. Revealing landscape, a gray city appears. Changing scenery, the administration headquarters boils in problems. Banging on the table, the director explodes in rage. Yelling at assistant, he demands Red's whereabouts. Complaining about madness, he cites danger of Rank S mission. Fearing worst, he doesn't believe Red went to isolated zone. Remembering past, he says not even monsters leave unscathed. Continuing outburst, he states Red can't run from rules. Drinking tea, a mysterious woman mocks the stress. Keeping calm, Captain Cavalier asks him not to exaggerate. Defending Red, she says taking the boy was a necessary gamble. Preaching confidence, she warns fear only hinders. Making a face, Cavalier complains about bitter taste. Maintaining rigidity, director insists breaking rules brings trouble. Seeding rumors, he warns important figures are watching. Remembering ancient terror, he speaks of the black contamination seal. Predicting chaos, he says the barrier won't last. Winking, the captain mentions the black color boy might be key. Sweating cold, director trembles imagining a ranking god. Promising to cover tracks, he takes the rookie's file. Staring at photo, he decides to monitor K's every step. Returning to Abyss, the three wake up in a lifeless world. Screaming terrified, Gale realizes all colors disappeared. Pointing finger, he notes K remains normal. Checking body, K sees black color still resists. Understanding difference, he realizes darkness doesn't affect him. Trying to react, Gale forces energy to create light. Failing act, green glow dies suffocated. Descending from ceiling, dreadful whispers surround the three. Trying to identify source, they stare at darkness. Hearing laments, Ellie feels a familiar chill. Focusing vision, K notes the place projects nightmares. Coming out of fog, a female silhouette walks to Ellie. Feeling killing intent, K reacts to figure. Staring fixedly, Ellie murmurs calling for mother. Falling for trap, she extends hand to false figure. Alerting, K warns that is a lie. Stepping in front, he protects friend. Tearing sky, a chaotic vortex appears. Emerging from darkness, a monstrous silhouette dominates horizon. Observing abyss, distorted creatures emerge from chaos. Staring into void, evil eyes shine. Remembering past, a vision of a blue portal appears. Understanding farce, K realizes place projects real memories. Hearing insults, voices from past start cursing non-stop. Resisting pressure, K sees own aura react to environment. Embracing figure, he tries to hold on to humanity that remains. Calling by name, K tries to break hypnotic trance. Feeling invasion, he fights to expel voices from mind. Yelling in rage, K demands cursed illusion stop. Looking aside, he sees Gale also fell for trick. Being strangled, swordsman relives terrible trauma from past. Perceiving danger, K notes friends are trapped in nightmare. Meowing loudly, Nero appears as saving light in total darkness. Relieved, K thanks heavens for Savior's return. Shining bright, Nero lets out a meow that pushes pushes away surrounding darkness. Creating trail, Kitten traces line of light to guide them. Reaching friends, Glow breaks nightmare trance. Leading way, Nero shows he knows exactly where to go. Exploding in white aura, purifying power cleans evil environment. Waking dazed, Ellie and Gale don't understand how they left trance. Calling attention, Kay points to light saying they must follow it. Clemming walls, luminous beam indicates safe escape route. Staring at objective, protagonist feels exit is near. Trying to hinder, shadows whisper insults to destabilize him. Cursing hero, voices say a colorless will never have value. Ignoring insults, Kay focuses only on small distant star. Walking firmly, he advances decided towards Glow. Widening eyes, Kay finally sees what was hidden. Recognizing object, he realizes he found the Stella fragment. Admiring Glow, notes that light is only pure thing there. Stretching arm, boy decides to take fragment. Touching sphere, colorful energy explodes, illuminating darkness. Shining bright, fragment reacts to immediate contact. Feeling vibration, Kay perceives something strange run through body. Finding sensation strange, he notes this absorption is different. Intensifying light, object pulses as if alive. Dissipating darkness, black fog retreats before brightness. Revealing scenery, abyss disappears, bringing everyone to reality. Breathing deep, Kay warns nightmare is over. Shocked, Ellie and Gale see friend holding light source. Showing prize, Kay shows fragment is harmless. Guaranteeing being fine, he says he felt no pain touching it. Biting hard, Nero swallows fragment whole. Paler, Gale sees cat swallow treasure. Desperate, Kay tries to make creature spit relic. In shock, the two see Nero shine with light and belly. Illuminating room, feline turns into living lamp. Shaking animal, Gale demands immediate return. Trembling violently, temple reacts to theft of core. Collapsing on them, ceiling threatens to bury group. Perceiving collapse, Kay screams for everyone to run. Shooting out, Trio escapes by a hair. Waiting at exit, a horde of monsters surrounds fugitives. Stepping on corpses, someone arrives observing massacre. Analyzing scene, redhead girl notes brutality of battle. Impressed, she wonders what kind of monster did that. Deducing culprit, bets it was work of fight maniac. Emerging in smoke, red appears standing among bodies. Arriving at location, reinforcement team stares at destruction. Hearing rumble, orange-haired woman turns alarmed. Erupting from soil, pillar of flames breaks stones. Protecting face, captain tries to understand origin of damage. Ordering rescue, she commands saving survivors. Appearing from nowhere, black energy blasts threaten group. Focusing on danger, leader realizes she needs to act. Yelling alert, she tells everyone to get down. Wielding hammer, warrior places herself in front. Spinning weapon, she creates wind shield. Rebounding force, impact makes cave shake. With dust settling, she notes energy dissipated. Commanding retreat, decides continuing there is dangerous. Disagreeing with order, blue guy warns he will investigate. Jumping in hole, he dives into smoke. Cracking soil, exchange of blows makes everything vibrate. Locking weapons, captain holds black blade. Forcing attack, monster tries to crush defense. Staring at beast, she notes insanity and look. Cutting wind, creature throws shadow claws. Exploding in light, shock illuminates darkness. Deflecting course, she throws charged aside. Retreating fast, figure seeks space. Observing attentive, redhead doesn't lose movements. Laughing, monster seems to have fun with violence. Detonating area, fire explosion sweeps field. Landing firm, captain appears among flames. Resisting damage, bicolor figure remains standing. Mocking rival, she questions dodge. Laughing loud, warrior mocks attempt. Crushing ground, she releases shockwave. Sliding in shadows, villain retreats using smoke. Landing far, observes the two align. Arriving with style, red appears saying show started. Relieved, redhead admits situation was ugly. Staring at duo, monster perceives disadvantage. Growling low, recognizes they aren't common prey. Thinking tactics, red says her help will be useful. Mocking, he claims arriving before total destruction. Accumulating heat, redhead prepares terrain. Hitting hammer, captain activates magic circle. In silence, enemy observes preparation. Smiling dreadful, feels objective near. Murmuring, he says body is ready. Grabbing edge, hand appears from abyss. Clemming exhausted, Kay steps on solid ground with friends. Breathing deep, Gale swears never to return there. Noticing scene, Kay perceives confrontation in progress. Turning fast, red sees rookies appear. Yelling orders, he tells them to run. Ignoring warning, monster advances. Disappearing in air, creature moves too fast. Injecting ink, Gale and Ellie try to activate weapons. Firing power, the two aim at figure. Blocking attack, enemy dodges easily. Breaking defenses, he disarms duo. Falling defeated, Gale and Ellie are thrown far. Advancing monster focuses on protagonist. Cutting air, black blade descends. Receiving blow, Kay feels pain tear shoulder. Terrified, Ellie sees friend thrown. Falling defeated, the two pass out. Imposing force, monster walks among bodies. Judging race, he says humans are fragile. Losing patience, decides to finish soon. Boiling in rage, red watches with cruel look. Thrown on ground, Kay remains motionless. Exploding in flames, redhead releases killing aura. Promising vengeance, red swears to turn villain to dust. Moving hand, Kay gives sign of life. Finding fact strange, monster feels energy grow. Preparing blow, captain raises hammer. Interrupting action, she perceives something wrong. Appearing behind enemy, Kay rises wrapped in darkness. Widening eyes, villain feels real terror. lifting from ground, K emanates killing pressure. Overflowing darkness, body is swallowed by shadows. Dotting vision, monster doesn't understand survival. Feeling real danger, he questions logic. Noticing similarity, perceives use of forbidden color. Closing fist, K concentrates power. Spinning energy, vortex forms. Goosebumped, enemy feels death approach. Jumping back, tries to create distance. Perplexed, red and captain don't believe. Appearing in blink, K appears behind oppressor. Grabbing shoulder, he locks monster. Giving orders, Rayhead tells to rescue wounded. Suspicious, red fears K lost control. Imagining worst, he thinks boy turned into something beyond. Feeling life drain, creature perceives existence being sucked. Remembering her, monster compares energies. Discovering truth, states K is key. Biting flesh, shadows in form of mouths attack. Surrounded by teeth, he tries to escape. Spinning staff, seeks space in chaos. Crossing attacks, light beams cut darkness. Admitting mistake, beast sees he underestimated target. Changing tactics, decides to take only parts of boy. Aiming limbs, advances to mutilate. Tearing wing, energy blades fly. Confident villain waits for impact. Widening eyes, sees blow paralyzed. Failing attack, causes no damage at all. Holding blade, K blocks with bare hand. Trying to pull, monster perceives weapon stuck. Jumping back, enemy retreats. Accepting end, perceives he failed. Yelling alert, someone says look ahead. Hitting full on, captain appears with devastating blow. Declaring sentence, redhead announces end. Exploding energy, hammer collides with defense. Blocking impact, villain feels bones crack. Moaning, admits it got too dangerous. Planning escape, decides to retreat. Turning back, runs to shadows. Mocking cowardice, captain provokes. Mocking, she says fleeing is shameful. Blocking route, red appears ahead. Warning destiny, he says no one leaves alive. Wielding sword, red releases colossal blast. Rising disguise, fire pillar illuminates everything. Incinerating area, heat melts rock. Trying to resist, monster raises weak barrier. Suffering impact, feels skin burn. Cursing in pain, perceives he can't win. Hurrying step, decides to flee. Jumping in fire, crosses flames. Incredulous, red sees enemy dive. Yelling in hate, monster promises return. Escaping by a hair, he disappears. Cracking ceiling, force opens immense hole. Disappearing in darkness, creature vanishes. Commenting escape, captain praises persistence. Storing weapon, red layman's lost prey. Complaining about weather, he says he hates fighting there. Observing hole, notes darkness helped escape. Lamenting delay, captain apologizes. Comforting friend, Ellie says they survived. Getting serious, red perceives K still standing. Dotting sanity, he questions boy's consciousness. Worried, Ellie wants to know what to do. Analyzing aura, red notes dangerous oscillation. Dissipating darkness, energy starts letting go. Calling by name, Ellie screams trying to wake him. Falling to his knees, K collapses exhausted after spending everything he had, and his hair loses color, turning back to the original white of the colorless. While the group stands in silence watching, shocked the revelation of his true form, and the captain watches confused, unable to understand what he really is, while Red stares down at the passed-out boy with an indecipherable look, and the monster groans in pain, feeling his skin burn with open wounds, trying to endure the damage caused by the fire while holding his own body, while the villain catches his breath in silence in the darkness, until hearing a mocking voice commenting on who arrived first. Mocking the appearance, the newcomer comments who gave him that beating. Recognizing the visit, the monster complains she always meddles, and Viper emerges from the shadows accompanied by her identical copies. Laughing at the misfortune, she wants to gossip about the fight against the legendary Red. Analyzing the ground, notes flame trails left there, and deduces quickly, being impressed he survived the Red monster. Telling her to shut up, the villain demands she gets out of the way, and admits remembering the terror that the human strength is absurd. Changing the subject, Viper comments on the opening of the witch's tome. Noticing the reaction, she smiles maliciously, noting he knows the seal's secret. Refusing to talk, the monster hides the identity of the key found, and declares possession, warning he will take the treasure alone. Getting curious, Viper watches partner walk away full of secrets. Giving orders to copies, commands shadows to investigate what happened, and decides to discover what opened the forbidden seal. Suspecting humans, thinks it's interesting someone from the city is involved, and laughs alone, looking forward to confirming her theories, while the giant beast silhouette appears imposingly against the black sky. Feeling time has come, she prepares to start the real massacre. Returning to city, daylight illuminates silent hospital, and Red watches through window, reflecting on failure of recent mission. Remembering promise, feels weight of failing protection, and admits guilt knowing he almost lost rookies. Staring at bed, observes unconscious boy with concern, and checks watch, perceiving time passing too fast. Praising resistance, admits K is tough, and promises next time no one will delay group, while Marie panics without understanding so many important people there. Admiring heroes, almost faints seeing most famous colorist in city. Remembering scare, tells she was terrified seeing K arrive wounded, and complains alone, asking friend to wake up soon. Calling by name, Red approaches to clear doubt, and Marie confirms identity, stuttering nervous near living legend. Reassuring girl, he states Kay will be fine soon, and asks about Cat wanting to know where Nero went. Widening eyes, Gale notes shadow move in corner of room, and points agitated saying creature is under sheet. When Nero appears staring innocent as if he did nothing, accusing thief, Gale claims it was Cat that swallowed fragment, and complains about difficulty explaining disappearance of item. Trying to catch creature, jumps on bed missing target by a hair, while Kitten flees to lap seeking protection in Marie's arms, who defends Pet saying she will take care of him right, and promises no one will hurt little one. Observing scene, Red feels something strange coming from Animal, when Cat opens mouth and spits shiny fragment, making Sphere's light flood hospital room, leaving everyone surprised seeing Rillick come out whole, and Red takes object barely believing he recovered legendary piece. Admiring treasure, perceives sacrifice was worth it, but remembers dead knowing price was too high, screaming in nightmare. Kay relives fatal moment of battle against shadows. Feeling fear, believes he needs to save friends from certain death. Waking in fright, sits on bed sweating cold and panting, and looks around trying to understand where he ended up. Perceiving tranquility, notes danger already past, and finds seeing everyone gathered around strange. Checking body, freezes noting he returned to being colorless, and thinks he will be expelled now that chariot is over. Imagining worst, trembles just thinking about being kicked out. Raising voice, Red orders him to lift head immediately. Questioning reaction, comments on that guilty expression, and makes clear he doesn't care a bit about his color. Showing prize, states mission was accomplished perfectly, and makes entry official welcoming new member to team. Being speechless, Kay feels he finally found his place, and accepts invitation relieved with feeling of belonging. Saying goodbye, Red warns he will let young ones talk alone, and takes fragment saying he has meeting with Great Lord. Closing door, silence takes over room leaving Kay tense. Breaking mood, Ellie comments wanting to know if he remembers what happened after, and answers he already came prepared to recover color. Pulling vial, reveals black ink stock coming from sewer. Explaining shows slime saying he filled jar in disposal pit. Complaining about disgust, Ellie warns that is poison, but drinks vial and sends black liquid down without fuss. While group watches magic happen, and white hair turns back to dark as night. Recovering energy, warns he is ready for another battle. Feeling nausea, Gale comments in his land that becomes fertilizer. Cutting chat, decides to leave to solve some things, but is bared by swordsman with serious look, who analyzes body noting intact arm, and finds regeneration strange knowing it's something rare. Pressing, demands answer looking straight in eyes. Accusing, explodes saying someone stole his thunder. Scratching neck, Kay tries to invent excuse, and lies saying his instinct warned about danger. Losing patience, Gale grabs him by neck, and shakes with force complaining about having been saved. Confessing hate, admits can't stand owing favors. Lost, Kay doesn't understand reason for such scandal. Interrupting, Marie tells swordsman to let go of boy. Puffing irritated, he obeys turning face. Massaging neck, Kay thanks in their crooked way. Leaving group, decides to leave hospital, and Kay warns he goes along saying he is broke. Leaving for later, postpones rematch against swordsman. Calling the two, asks for minute of attention, and acts mysterious saying he has something amazing to show. Recalling battle, reveals he destroyed giant robot alone, and hands core saying he saved it thinking of her. Showing peace that powered deadly machine. Widening eyes, Marie gets hypnotized with item, and trembles with emotion touching something so rare, while Red walks alone through city's great sacred hall. Feeling satisfaction perceiving success of mission, when divine light illuminates entire environment, and approaches throne with absolute respect, announcing he brought good news, and soft voice echoes welcoming, reporting Black Witch's veil was broken, and addresses Shining Being as Lord Luminous, while Marie works tireless dismantling core and workshop, praising design for never seeing such advanced technology, explaining that uses ink as pure fuel, and confirms piece is worth more than entire city. Smiling, guarantees she will discover all secrets, and imagines mountain of lost technology stored there. Asking permission, begs to dismantle everything right now, and questions if he will really hand over rank S item, swearing to create perfect weapon exclusively for Kay. Calling Cat, decides to leave and let genius work, but is interrupted when asked to wait at door, and receives shy thanks full of emotion. When Mary's mind returns to dark days, remembering crying alone begging not to be discarded, until mysterious man with glasses appeared, who extended hand offering home, and renews decision to honor chance received, while Kay walks thoughtful feeling object shouldn't be with him, and follows through slum noting rising tension. Hurrying step, decides to find team, stopping for instant, feels mood changed, and hears scared rumors about guard actions, talking about arrests without just cause, and predicting war is about to explode. Turning face, perceives someone calling in alley, and listens to voice asking to approach, insisting there is nothing to fear. Mocking, Kay laughs at ridiculous acting, and points tentacles coming out of clothes. understanding they came to hunt his special body, preparing to crush threat, but feels much stronger pressure when rainbow light appears revealing someone unexpected. Hesitating, feels there is no return, and enters light being transported, while glow reveals female silhouette, who approaches showing divine aura, trying to understand who is source of that pressure, and receives calm request to calm down, when she introduces herself as Galaxia the High Saint, being stunned staring at living legend, and here she waited for Son of Black, who extends hand with perfect hospitality, while distorted voices invade mind, questioning in dark if he sees invisible, feeling light hides something rotten, upon noticing invisible word float as warning, perceiving presence of hidden intruder, while Saint receives him with welcoming smile, and hidden voice returns to provoke in darkness, making K try to understand who invades his mind, while Galaxia finds confused reaction strange, and states having cast no spell, mentioning his black lineage's big problem, and reveals leadership wanted to see him eliminated, saying she interfered by own will, believing his power is essential for future, offering deal to protect him from world, while K listens attentive perceiving complexity, and hears white power can mask black, when Saint prepares sacred spell, and warm light covers his body, but distrusts smelling brainwash, trying to ignore voices in mind, while she reinforces she saved his life, Ed admits needing him for something bigger, saying never having seen equal energy, while K holds Stella fragment, and she comments strange reaction of item, making clear she is before someone dangerous, when Galaxia mentions Black Witch's seal, and explains no one managed to open that, until revealing only Witch herself as key, and Fragment shines linked to darkness, bringing to mind Black hands, connecting facts and suspecting she knows more, until Galaxia notes his silence, and decides not to press for now, warning she will use Fragment right now, covering horizon Black Earth darkness threatens city from afar, and shining like sun sacred palace starts accumulating brutal energy, touching relic Saint decides to show what she's really capable of, and releasing charge, blinding light explodes from her hands violently, tearing skies rainbow pillar shoots piercing clouds, and hitting ground, divine blast collides against darkness with total force. Watching from front row, K feels like ant before that power, and doubting vision, he barely believes darkness is being defeated. Retreating with fear, Black Earth starts being pushed back, spreading gossip, newspapers print bombshell headline instantly, and screaming in streets boy warns border is being retaken, celebrating news people read about miracle that just happened, and exalting leader, citizens thank for protection of great saint, illuminating city hope is reborn with victory over shadows, and celebrating conquest pioneers vibrate with chance to explore new lands, planning future leaders discuss how to explore resources there, spying from afar, hooded figure observes movement in city, retaking focus Galaxia asks if he understood power of fragment, and explaining strength, she says that light is just beginning of potential, alerting boy Saint warns Black hands will come after his inheritance, and promising safety, she guarantees stopping any attack against him, limiting situation, Galaxia reveals city is consuming everything it has, and showing vulnerability, admits her powers are running out. Giving advice, suggests K stay sharp with who he hangs with, ending meeting Saint says he needs to return to reality now, and disappearing in light leaves last enigmatic smile for boy, waking dazed, K gets up trying to process everything he heard in vision, and scratching neck, thinks what to do with so much heavy info, remembering duty, perceives Marie is full of problems to solve, counting coins, celebrates rare moment of time off in middle of that rush, choosing destination, walks decided through busy streets to Central Guild, admiring facade, imposing pioneer building stands out in middle of city, laughing nervously, confesses he never thought he would have permission to enter there, remembering traumas, knows in colorless era, couldn't even step on sidewalk, fixing cloak raises head ready to enter as legit pioneer, crossing lobby, notes he became center of attention of everyone, pointing discreetly other pioneers gossip about legendary Black Wielder, feeling fear some compare his aura with villains on news, doubting skill question what Red saw special in this boy, looking through window, red-haired boy analyzes rookie with curiosity, mocking rumors, comments with team he expected someone much older, asking truth, questions Reniel who was present in desert mission, getting serious glasses girl admits his fame is totally justified, and recalling terror warns she felt evil vibration in that power, smiling amused observer comments famous rookie arrived, walking through hall K perceives everyone knows exactly who he is, receiving boy employee asks if he will open new account, signing papers takes provisional license with contained pride, judging appearance, veterans stare with contempt at his black color, talking at table next door, team discusses next big mission, questioning plan, someone asks what is their true objective, getting up irritated group leader cuts small talk immediately, confirming goal, says they aren't there to play hero, criticizing look, comments looking at black hurts eyes, and despising boy says doesn't like type described by red, remembering warning, states he hates people who use talent as crutch, turning back decides to ignore existence of that trash, focusing on work calls team attention to real briefing, showing target image of Black Earth appears as next destination, holding stone K vibrates finding more valuable ore there, and gathering pile perceives never saw so much wealth at once. Remembering scarcity knows these colored ores are worth fortune. Imagining reaction already predicts Murray freaking out with profit. Activating vision perceives his special eyes change game. And seeing in dark, resources shine like stars in total darkness. Provoking partner warns Cat will end up unemployed. Finishing early, decides to stall not to call attention on return. Enjoying time, resolves to train control of new powers. Remembering danger, nosing drain is too unstable. Focusing on hand, needs to master this hunger before it dominates him. Admiring shine, evaluates blue stone that seems worth a lot. And sucking color, dark energy attacks or without warning. Panicking, sees money turn to dust in uncontrolled hand. Lamenting loss, admits at least understood how it works. Reflecting on theory, thinks about how Saint manipulated colors in him. Understanding logic, concludes black is just mixture of everything. Questioning future, thinks if she would be capable of curing him for good. Remembering phrase, instruction to use all colors echoes in mind. Perceiving time, decides it's already moment to return to base. Reacting in pocket, red's mysterious box starts vibrating alone. Holding object, feels red and dense energy pulse from there. And exploding in light, item shines bright, scaring unprepared boy. Running ahead, Nero seems to have sniffed something in shadows. Observing horizon, notes darkness of that place is infinite. Carrying sack, thinks may be exaggerated in today's collection. Seeing lights, perceives people approaching on path. Emerging from darkness, Red's team appears with heavy aura. Threatening death, Raidhead says will kill whoever disobeys. Getting confused, Kay doesn't understand what kind of conversation is that. Yelling in hurry, looters order boy to walk fast. Finding rudeness strange, stares at group without lowering head. Questioning identity, asks who those guys are. Coveting treasure, thieves note sack full of ores. Mocking luck, state rookie as easy prey. Smiling with greed, Raidhead leader praises size of loot. Threatening to rob, says will take entire valuable cargo away. Surrounding boy, gang demands immediate delivery of resources. Drawing weapon, K warns coldly blame will be theirs. Laughing at threat, one henchman advances thinking he is weak. Provoking boy, asks if he is sleeping standing up. Cutting wind, figure crosses enemy at insane speed. Widening eyes, bandit feels impact before seeing blow. Being perplexed, gang boss sees his man fall defeated. Appearing behind them, K poses victorious, leaving everyone in panic. Yelling in rage, bandit demands to know what he did to friend. Sighing deep, K warns has no time to waste with trash. Running with knife, guy attacks protagonist full of hate. Dodging cut, passes blade as if it were nothing. Connecting punch, hits brutal straight on enemy face. Cracking wall, impact throws poor guy far instantly. Roaring furious, big guy decides to crush boy with beating. Throwing weight, deals punch capable of breaking bones easy. Holding fist, K stops attack with open palm. Breaking posture, counterattacks with precise kick to stomach. Losing air, brute is thrown back with total force. Advancing on figure, chases victim before touching ground. Sinking in soil, buries opponent in earth violently. Looking at fallen, warns greed always charges high price. Focusing on leader, smiles warning now only he remains there. Staring at boss, perceives won't give up so easy. Firing without warning, guy shoots explosive projectile in his direction. Hearing boom, K jumps away avoiding turning to dust. Analyzing weapon, notes enemy possesses long-range sprite. Smoking barrel, pistol reveals to be modified and dangerous weapon. Laughing loud, Redhead has fun with kid's agility. Cursing aim, complains almost hit critical blow. Bragging, says was already elite mercenary. Revealing secret, claims recognized legendary black suit. Planning profit, decides to kill boy and steal everything. Yelling sentence, warns in black earth there are no laws. Pulling trigger, rain of red lasers covers corridor. Dodging fast, K dances among deadly beams. Grazing skin, shots explode scenery around violently. Rolling on ground, seeks opening to counterattack. Shortening distance, goes for melee without fear. Dealing fast punches, doesn't let shooter breathe. Growling in hate, bandit curses boy for being persistent. Yelling to back off, fires cannon against own foot. Exploding soil, red spike barrier throws K far. Landing surprised, questions what kind of ammo does that. Observing crystals, notes ground became trap. Revealing trump card, Raidhead says his color crystallizes ores. Bragging about source, guarantees can create bullets forever. Humiliating opponent, says black color is no match. Shooting non-stop, storm of sharp rubies cuts air. Recognizing strength, evaluates enemy must be rank B. Hesitating to absorb, fears his defense won't hold. Remembering pain, knows can't take direct shot. Thinking strategy, is grabbed by surprise by brute. Widening eyes, K sees himself trapped in persistent brute's trap. And watching from afar, Reedhead prepares weapon waiting perfect chance to kill. Yelling to let go, boy tries to break free from enemy's bear hug. And taking kicks to face, henchman holds firm and tells boss to shoot soon. Taking advantage of opening, leader aims smiling ready to explode both. And pulling trigger, releases full charge yelling its end of line. Staring death, K sees projectile coming too fast to dodge. And bursting soil, explosion raises dense cloud of debris and smoke. Praising shot, shooters celebrates thinking problem was eliminated. Appearing in dust, boot steps firm on ground showing fight isn't over, and coming out unharmed, K remains standing in center of impact shocking everyone. Doubting vision, Rehead feels cold sweat go down seeing boy alive. Stuttering, tries to understand how monster resisted that attack. Complaining about scare, K walks to him with face dirty with suit. and explaining trick, says absorbed energy or would have turned into mincemeat. Refusing reality, Bandit swears hit fatal shot to head. Panicking, unloads weapon yelling for monster to die. And ignoring shots, K advances calm in middle of bullet storm. Provoking enemy, asks if infinite ammo is already running out. And mocking power, questions where all that arrogant pride went. Activating technique, invokes black veil covering chest with darkness. Trembling with dread, villain perceives his attacks have no effect. Announcing turnaround, K warns now it's his turn to start hitting. Retreating scared, shooter sees situation spiral out of control. Analyzing defense, K notes absorbing impact made shots useless. And canceling damage, bullets disappear touching dark aura. Coming up with plan, decides needs to deal with that annoying weapon. Having unusual idea, resolves to try imitating rival's skill. Concentrating energy, molds shadows in right palm. And creating black spear, surprises Bandit with new weapon. Celebrating feat, smiles seeing copy work perfectly. Remembering fights, admits always depended only on fists. Squeezing spear, explains learn technique absorbing energy. Thanking lesson, ironic saying enemy was very useful. Jumping in air, prepares heavy attack with newly created weapon. In crushing soil, impact of spear makes Bandit retreat. Shooting furious, redhead unloads pistol trying to kill kid. Blocking shots, K uses own spear as shield. Ignoring damage, warns with boredom that won't work. Inviting for training, decides to use villain as punching bag. Destroying everything, advances with brutal blows breaking enemy defense. And exploding stones, force of black attack sweeps terrain. Doubting reality, Bandit goes into shock seeing copied power. Recognizing technique, perceives movements were stolen. Changing shape, resolves to test another dark energy modeling. Turning scythe, prepares lateral cut aiming rival neck. Blocking blow, Bandit uses giant pistol as shield. Widening eyes, feels weapon being sliced in half. Falling on ground, pieces of pistol show fight is over. Losing speech, redhead barely believes his sprite was destroyed. Trembling with fear, perceives that was pure strength. Asking race, tries to understand what kind of monster K is. Cursing anomaly, screams that isn't normal for human. Staring prey, K releases black aura making clear who rules. Asking with boredom, wants to know where Bandit leader is. Provoking runner, warns he is unarmed now. Calling for fight, challenges opponent to come empty-handed. Refusing defeat, redhead swears still has cards up sleeve. Yelling furious, warns is rank B for good reason. Activating power, giant red crystal sprout from ground around. Promising to kill, advances for physical combat without thinking. Jumping in air, molds crystals on back like deadly wings. And firing projectiles, rain of needles flies in target direction. Blocking calmly, K creates impenetrable black shield. Exploding on impact, needles turn to dust touching defense. Advancing in smoke, crosses bombardment without suffering scratches. Appearing from shadows, appears in front of villain like ghost. Dealing blow, black spear pierces crystal barrier. Cracking defense, attack destroys improvised armor. Widening eyes, redhead feels terror seeing fist coming. Hitting stomach, K sinks punch making enemies spit blood. Moaning in pain, boss bends knees feeling body yield. Grabbing collar, lifts guy like rag doll. Staring in eyes, asks if brave one lost courage. Throwing far, throws trash against wall with total force. Coughing blood, Bandit tries to get up trembling. Provoking fall and asks if ridiculous show is over. Complaining delay, says hates wasting time with weaklings. Murmuring incredulous, villain doesn't understand how rookie has so much power. Doubting logic, knows common human wouldn't do that. Calling monster, accuses K of being living aberration. Yelling with disgust, says being born with black is mortal sin. Stating obvious, swears his energy is evil. Questioning sanity, tries to know if he feels weight of darkness. Remembering past images of lonely childhood invade mind. Accusing ruthlessly, redhead screams he is monster in disguise. Denying humanity, states never was real person. Staying silent, K just stares fear in his eyes. Feeling terror, Bandit sees shadow grow and swallow everything. Widening eyes, perceives provoked something much worse. Staring soul, K casts cold contempt that freezes blood. Trembling all over, redhead feels dread dominate body. Laughing at fear, K finds desperate speech funny. Grabbing neck, remembers how guy was brave before. Suffocating Bandit, squeezes hand seeing air run out. Offering trade, decides to show power up close. Explaining logic, warns will take something in exchange. Screaming in agony, villain feels energy being drained. Observing landscape, K sits on top of pile of bodies. Thinking about life, reflects on what just did. Scratching head, perceives leaving guy like that can be bad. Imagining future, knows hate for black color will grow. Fearing fame, doesn't want to be known as color thief. Panicking, decides to fix mess now. Searching pocket, finds vial of saving red ink. Enforcing liquid, makes Bandit drink ink. Observing result, color starts returning slowly. Moving to next, forces others to take medicine. Arriving at gate, city routine follows busy. Noticing something strange, guard perceives package left there. Widening eyes, gets scared with pile of tied up people. Finding bodies, sees group totally defeated and trapped. Finding paleness strange, thinks they spent too much ink on mission. Leaving quietly, K blends in crowd relieved. Reflecting on plan, believes returning color was best way out. Trusting luck, hopes red cleans mess later. Returning home, Mary's workshop sign brings peace. screaming for friend, enters excited calling girl, complaining disappearance. Marie demands to know where he was, smiling wide. K warns that, revealing surprise open sack full of shiny ores. Widening eyes, Mary barely believes absurd amount. Hugging friend jumps on him saying he is the best. Thanking gift, promises to turn everything into something useful. Radiant, her happiness infects environment. Noticing something strange, Kay perceives mysterious light in her body. Remembering past, recalls seeing same aura on Gale. Feeling heat, understands that is true color of her soul. Reflecting, recognizes Marie always illuminated people's lives. Recalling childhood, knows her smile saved dark days. Calling to workshop, decides to show secret project. Making mystery, reveals is creating personalized weapon. Getting shocked, Kay didn't expect such advance. Excited with resources, says now can improve item. Thinking loud, already imagines what to create with leftovers. Entering without knocking, visitor comments he came back alive. Recognizing voice, Kay finds Ellie and Gale at door. Greeting friends, Marie is surprised with appearance. Joking, Kay wants to know if they came to challenge him again. Denying with class, Gale says today doesn't want to get beaten. Explaining visit, warns Lord Luminous summon 3. Getting shocked, Marie perceives gravity of call. Hurrying step, pushes boy outdoor. Promising to finish, guarantees weapon will be ready. Accepting deal, Kay leaves anxious for result. Arriving at barracks, building imposes respect. Receiving group, secretary asks to follow her. Crossing corridor, walk in silence. Explaining place, says there is command center. Pointing room, indicates can wait. Opening door, Kay finds pink-haired girl on throne. Questioning identity, she comments on famous rookie. Introducing herself, says to be Pink Squad leader. Smiling jokes, legend ran fast. Finding vision strange, Kay didn't imagine someone so cute in command. Remembering rumors, knows she is rank a powerhouse. Inviting to sit, offers tea and relaxes mood. Praising courage, comments red was lucky. Drinking sip, makes face complaining about bitter. Complaining about flavor, screams asking who made that. Entering room, secretary warns animals are prohibited. Defending cat, Kay says Nero is family. Going straight to point, leader hands prizes. Distributing cards, warns is payment. Widening eyes, trio is stunned with value. Presenting badges, puts badges on table. Praising performance, confirms immediate promotion. Reserving best, announces special bonus. Offering weapons, warns Alexandrite will forge them. Getting shocked, Ellie and Gale don't believe. Justifying expense, says needs total strength. Making team official, welcomes defenders. Changing mood, highlights importance of Stella fragment. Revealing gravity, warns survival depends on this. Pressing rookies, says hope of humanity is them. Leaving building, Kay feels weight of responsibility. Sighing, perceives life change completely. Recalling day, concludes made right choice. Arriving at workshop, can barely wait to tell everything. Finding silence strange, enters slow calling friend. Finding chaos, sees workshop turned upside down with signs of struggle. Widening eyes, feels blood freeze, perceiving Marie disappeared. The scene changes to an advanced base on the city border, and that place serves as the first line of defense against the Black Earth. Suddenly an alarm sounds because several creatures invade the place, and with that the pioneers prepare to face the horde. One of the leaders screams desperate because the enemies don't stop coming. From above, a mysterious figure observes the massacre. Laughing at the situation, Viper says she's disappointed with the weak resistance. And for her, those waves are nothing but pathetic bait. Deciding to act, she thinks of something stronger to destroy the city, and starts to hatch a bolder plan. Looking at the horizon, states she will enter the city again, and with that, a partner questions if she plans to kill herself. Just laughing, she decides to tell what the plan is, revealing there are secret paths linking the city to the Black Earth. And the scene returns to Kay in the destroyed workshop. Desperate, he screams Mary's name seeing the mess, and starts searching the entire workshop without finding her. Breaking down the door of another room, he tries to find her. Perceiving the situation, understands she isn't anywhere. Seeing the tools on the floor, suspects kidnapping. Closing his fist, feels anger grow without knowing who did that, and a dark aura takes over his body, boiling with hate. Immediately after, remembers a tragic moment from her past, and swears he won't let that happen again. Suddenly a strange meow catches his attention. Looking at the floor, sees Nero coming out of a drain, and the kitten places a mysterious object on the table. Approaching, tries to understand what that is, and before him is a powerful mechanical glove. Perceiving that was the weapon Marie was creating, understanding the message, activates inverted vision, and a light starts coming out of the glove on the table. Perceiving it's the same color seen on her, decides to follow the trail. Despite the worry, tries to calm down to think clearly, being sure they are the same ones who attacked him before. Closing his fist, calls the culprit city trash, and swears he will find Marie because they started this fight. Taking the glove, decides to take it with him. Putting on the weapon, promises to use it very well, and the gear adjusts perfectly to his arm. Dark energy flows from fingers, confirming the fit. Feeling efficiency increase, perceives he can fight longer. Understanding finally why pioneers love their gear, calling Nero, warns they will find her at any cost, and goes out alone through streets in search of friend, following light trail left by her. Immediately after, some men stare at him suspiciously. Following glow, enters abandoned building, perceiving trail ends at that point, and before him appears entrance to underground. Remembering number of homeless increased there, suddenly voice says he was right. Turning in silence, already feels enemy presence, and green-haired man appears with gang. Remembering pending matters provokes hero. Without patience, K goes straight to point, demanding Marie. Refusing to answer, villain remembers past beating. Yelling in rage, tells effort to recover color, revealing boss ordered to take him in any state, and orders everyone to attack at once. Concentrating dark energy in hand, prepares himself, creating shadow dagger, warns won't waste time. Looking at enemies, thinks they don't deserve mercy. Without hesitating, henchman advances with machete, dodging easy counterattacks with black blade. Moving like shadow, defeats all others. Seeing scene, leader is shocked and charges power. Yelling, calls boy monster and launches cut, receiving blow head on without moving, and villain widens eyes seeing attack fail. Without giving chance, K lands punch on face, holding him by collar, warns situation changed. Looking at henchman on floor, says has no pity, with cold look, states should thank for being alive. Grabbing weapon, calls leader disgusting pioneer, saying people like that don't deserve blessing of light. Ignoring screams, starts sucking all color. Dragging villain, says needs guide, and throws himself in hold, taking man along. During fall, stares at infinite darkness, and strong light appears at bottom of pit. Upon approaching, spots huge underground city. Looking at place, barely believes what he sees, and remembers that scenario is the dreaded Undercity.